Well, hello, lovely people. It's Belinda here from Aligned Chiropractic, and I just wanted to follow up on the last video I did where we talked about crisis and how crisis is change trying to happen. And it's also an opportunity to make change in our lives as well. I think one of the things that's been well observed is the fact people have been incredibly resourceful in how they conduct their communication with each other, but also in how they conduct their businesses and their working practices. And we've used technology on a level that I don't think anybody dreamed about at some point just a few short years ago. But now we've embraced it, and we've had to embrace it. And I think this is going to change things going forwards from here. I know I've had conversations with people and they're saying how much more productive it has been working at home, how they don't have any distractions, and that the environment is just better for them to get the job done. And going forwards, the companies are starting to look and maybe introducing new working structures where people can in fact work more constructively at home. So I do see a lot of change going to happen as a result of this particular situation with lockdown. Change and I think crisis forcing change is also going to happen in terms of how we view our health. You know, our health is an incredible and precious commodity. When you have great health, it's fantastic. But when your health is compromised in some way, this is going to have massive compromise in your life, but it's also going to make you more susceptible to situations like this and situations of infection or being vulnerable to infection, which is the current thing that's happening at the moment. And I think a lot of focus is now going towards health and how you can build a robust immune system. Now, I think it's worth stating again, you know, Louis Pasteur, some of you will know, was the father of the germ theory. And the theory was basically about the rules of contagion, if you like, in that germs existed. They were indiscriminate. They would just pick and choose who they were going to infect, and then that person would, either succumb or they would recover from that infection. However, the thing is, on his deathbed, Louis Pasteur admitted that the germ theory was flawed, and the germ or the microbe was nothing. We have millions of microbes around us. We have millions of viruses around us. We have viruses within us. We would have died out as a human race long before now if bacteria, viruses, and microbes generally behaved in the way the germ theory had outlined. So he admitted on his deathbed that the germ was nothing, and then actually the soil is everything. And what he's referring to is our body's physiology, and in particular, the strength of our immune system. So if your body has a robust immune system, then you're not going to be susceptible or vulnerable to infections or microbes. Now, I know people have said to me, you know, there are some people that are young and healthy and they are being taken out by COVID-19. And I would say this, if their immune system was robust and if their health was entirely intact, then that cannot be the case. But how do we know what their health status really was? They might not even really know what their health status is. Do you know you can think you are healthy because you're feeling okay? But then we've all heard the story of somebody who's been fit and healthy, or seemingly fit and healthy, and then suddenly they drop dead of a heart attack at the age of 40. So clearly there was something wrong there, but they didn't have any symptoms. So they must have been all right, but they couldn't have been. Not even a week before, not even a year before, or possibly even 10 years before. There was something going on that was creating some compromise in that person's health, and the heart attack was the first sign that there was something going on. Sometimes that's the end. There's no recovery. So this is the thing. Building a robust, immune system or robust health is going to be key, and I think foremost in a lot of people's minds. So here's the thing, and here's what I subscribe to. You know, we talked about on an emotional level the contagion of fear. Now, fear is one of the biggest immune depressing emotions that you can have. And let's face it, the media frenzy at the moment is inducing this contagion of fear that is going on and on. There doesn't seem to be any let up. There doesn't seem to be any hopeful news in sight. As soon as we get a piece of seemingly positive news, then something happens, and something like another peak or rage of infection is forecast for the future, and then suddenly everybody recoils and is locked back in fear again. So there's this constant negativity in the media all the time. Now, you know, I'm not living under a mushroom and I'm aware of what is going on in the world, but what I choose not to do is listen to it day in and day out. I don't need to have that kind of input into my mind, and I certainly don't want the depressing effect on my immune system that being pushed into that state of fear and anxiety will create. So my advice is switch the TV off, give yourself a break. Now, get outside. You know, we're really blessed that we live in Northumberland where we have a lot of wide open spaces, and most people will have a small garden or a small yard or somewhere that they can go and sit out in, or go for a walk somewhere where they're unlikely to come into contact with other people, and they can maintain their social distancing and personal integrity and all of those sort of things. But this is what they did in the time of the Spanish flu, which was in when was it? 1918. And, you know, this was a horrific time where, and you can look this up as well, but, you know, millions of people died during this time. And one of the things that they decided to do was to move their patients into outside. Basically, they set up beds outside. I think they'd run out of space inside. So this was part of the reason, but they set all these beds up outside because fresh air has an antimicrobial effect. And so the belief was that if they put people outside into the fresh air and they were also exposed to sunshine, that they're going to fare better than if they're stuck inside without fresh air and a lack of sunshine. And of course that was shown to be true. So just, you know, check that one out. So being outside is absolutely crucial to helping boost your immune system, and obviously getting a dose of sunshine. And we've been incredibly blessed over this period of time to have the most amazing weather imaginable. So make sure you get out and you take full advantage of that. Now, vitamin D is one of those, which you get from sunshine, is one of those really important vitamins. It's actually a hormone, but vitamins add helping to boost your immune system and giving you protection against viral conditions. Now, the further north you live, the less sunshine that you're going to get, and the more commonplace vitamin D deficiency is. And it is very common. And you have no idea whether you have adequate levels or not unless you are tested for it. So I would definitely recommend, first of all, getting adequate amounts of sunshine or exposure to the daylight, but at some point, get your vitamin D levels checked. Find out where you are with it. And once you know where you are, then you'll know how to adequately supplement with vitamin D. Now, this is going to be hugely beneficial to your immune system, particularly around the winter months where flu and cold seem to be more prevalent. But if you get your adequate stores up throughout the year, then you go into those winter seasons much more protected and much more resilient. So vitamin D is a biggie. Now, again, on a nutritional level, let's look at vitamin A. Now, you don't often hear anybody talking about vitamin A, but it's absolutely critical in terms of keeping your immune system robust. Now, if you go to the website of the World Health Organization, you will find a big piece on there about vitamin A deficiency. And what the World Health Organization did was look at, you know, a population of African people and find out why they were so susceptible to developing problems with measles. And they found that vitamin A deficiency was extremely commonplace. And what they decided to do was supplement with vitamin A, and they found that made a huge difference in terms of whether someone would be susceptible to measles infection or not. So that was very, very interesting. And clearly, if vitamin A levels are sufficient, that's going to boost your immune system to a level that you're going to be much more protected against all sorts of viral infections. So really have a look into that and look at vitamin A. Now, the other big one is vitamin C. Now, this is a really easy one to supplement, particularly if you don't have any supplements to hand, is just go out and buy some fresh lemons and limes. Obviously, organic is better. And I did a short video with actually my son did the video, making this wonderful lemon and lime drink, which is absolutely loaded with vitamin C. So I would suggest you just get one of each, one lemon, one lime, squeeze the juice into a tall glass of water and drink that every single day. And that's going to give you a massive boost there. Now, in terms of food, it's really important that you consider the quality of the food that you are putting into your body. Pre-packaged food is just not going to give you that nutritional benefit that is going to boost your immune system in the short term or the long term. You really ought to be looking at buying fresh produce. Now, food is in abundance everywhere. No matter where you shop, whether it's the Co-op or Waitrose or Tesco or wherever else that you might go, there is an abundance of fresh food. So instead of buying pre-packaged, make things from scratch. It's so easy to make a salad. And I would also suggest that you really look towards buying organic meat and organic vegetables. And again, these are quite commonplace too. Now, the reason I suggest that is that if they are organic, they're not going to be exposed to pesticides and insecticides. The meat's not going to be routinely exposed to antibiotics or growth hormones. And if you remove these toxins from your food sources, you're also going to lower your toxic level inside your body. And if you've got lower toxic levels of all these sort of things, then of course your immune system is going to do a whole lot better. So endeavor to buy fresh food, organic food, keep it clean, and cook from scratch. Now, I've posted somewhere earlier on one of my other videos how to make a delicious organic bone broth with a twist. So go check that video out because it's absolutely fantastic, and that's one of our favorite things in our household. Because it's a good all-round nutritional food, but it's a great immune booster as well. So just have a look at that. On a hydration level, and I know the NHS endorses this as well, that being properly hydrated also helps to boost your immune system. But, most people don't know how much they need to be drinking. And, we perhaps just need to try and keep it really simple. And if you use this little mathematical equation to work out what you need, then you're not going to go wrong with this. So for every 23 kilos of body weight, you should drink a litre of water. So you can work that out or make a conversion if you need to do it. You're working in older units. Now, we're also blessed in Northumberland that we have water that is drinkable, but it doesn't mean that it's not free of impurities. So I would also suggest buying yourself a Brita water filter and filtering all your water, all the water that you drink, but also the water that you're going to cook with. And that's going to be much, much better for you. So eating good, clean food, taking adequate levels of vitamin